Hi guys! Today we will be making a fruit basket out of polymer clay. Some tools you will need are silicone ends and ballpoint tools of different sizes. You'll need a pointy edge tool and a round edge tool. We will also use a 1 tablespoon measuring thing. And you'll need different colors of polymer clay like pink, peach, red, a light and bright green, a normal green, and a dark green, some black, yellow, white, a metallic brown, orange, a dark purple, a bright purple, and a light purple. I'm sorry we forgot to mention tin foil, but you will be needing it. Take a rectangular piece of tin foil and fold it in half. Then grab your tablespoon measuring tool and use a tin foil to wrap it around the tablespoon part. Use your fingers to press it down like this. This is our finished result. We had to cut the sides, but you should get something like this. Take your metallic brown clay and split it into 2 parts. It's okay if they're not even, but yeah. Take the smaller part of your metallic brown clay and roll it into a snake. Try not to make it too thin or else it might break. In the end, you should get something like this. Take the pointy edge tool and cut the snake into 4 even parts. It's okay if it's not that even, but just try your best. Once you have cut the snake in 4 pieces, take 1 piece and cover it across your tinfoil mold that you covered across the tablespoon. If it's too short, then you can roll it out. Crisscross all 4 pieces to make it look like this. Take the 4 pieces of the split snake and cover the tinfoil mold that you made out of the tablespoon. Crisscross it like how it's shown. Take a medium ballpoint tip and press it down in the middle of your snakes. Once you've done that, take a pointy edge tool and cut off the excess. After you've done that, pre-bake it according to package instructions. Once the snakes have been baked, peel it off. If it doesn't come off that easily, use your ballpoint tool and poke it on the tinfoil so the snakes can come off. Once you have peeled off the snakes, it should look like this. This will be the frame for your basket. Then take the other piece of metallic brown clay and roll it into a snake. The snake should be slightly thinner than the frame of the basket. cut your snake into a appropriate length so it's weavable and not too long. Take the long line and attach it to the middle and start coiling it around the frame of the basket. Use another piece of tinfoil to make a mold. Like this. And then place your basket inside it and bake. Take your orange clay and take off a bit. We'll be needing this for later. And then use the bigger part and roll it into a nice ball. After that, use a ballpoint tool of any size and start dotting on it to make the texture. After you've textured it, it should look like this with a nice lumpy texture that is its skin. Take the normal green and pinch off a piece to make a leaf shape. Then take the dark green and pinch off a bit and roll it into a snake. This we will use to make the details on our leaf. Use the silicone tool to make little details where the dark green snake is gonna be. Use the round end tool to cut it into little bits to put on your leaf where you made the crevice using your silicone tip. Use the leaf we just made and make a small curve to it. Then attach it to your orange. Use a ballpoint tip to secure it. Take your red clay and split it in half. Take 1/2 and roll it into a ball. Then pinch the bottom of the apple. It should look like that. Then use the ballpoint pen and make a little crevice. Take your red clay and split it in half. Take 1/2 and roll it into a ball. Then pinch the bottom of the apple. It should look like that. Then use the ballpoint pen and make a little crevice. Take a little bit of metallic brown clay and roll it into a small snake and fit it into the crevice that we made with the ballpoint pen. Use a smaller ballpoint tip to attach it. Then use dark green clay and make a leaf shape. Attach it to the stem. Use a ballpoint tip to attach it. Take the light purple and the bright purple. Pinch off half of the bright purple and attach it to the light purple and mix it together. Take the mixed purple and pinch off a lot of little bits. These will be every individual grape. Take the purple grapes and make 2 vines. Take your dark green and pinch off little bits to make leaves. Don't pinch off too much or it's going to look unnatural. Take a piece and make a pointy leaf shape. Use the pointy edge tool and cut little bits along the sides. This will make it look a bit more like grape leaves. In the end, it should look like this. After you have attached the leaves, it should look something like this. Then use the normal clay and pinch off a bit and roll it into a snake. The snake will be the vines. Cut it in half with the pointy edge tool and attach it to the grapes. Use a ballpoint tool and stick it in the grapes to make it attach better. After you have attached the leaves, it should look something like this. Then use the normal clay and pinch off a bit and roll it into a snake. The snake will be the vines. Cut it in half with the pointy edge tool and attach it to the grapes. Use a ballpoint tool and stick it in the grapes to make it attach better. Then take your purple and red clay and mix it together. Voila! It should look something like this. Then pinch a piece off and set that aside. Take the bigger piece and roll it into a ball. It should look like this. Then take the piece that we pinched off and pinch it in half again. Take one piece and roll it into a ball. Then press it flat. Use the ballpoint tip and make a hole in it. Then use a pointy edge tool and start cutting it until it looks like a 4-pointed star. Take the other pinched piece and roll it into a ball. Put it on top of the circle and slightly flatten it. Then take the four pointed star and attach it to the flattened ball. Use a ballpoint tip and push it through the hole that we already made. This will help it attach more. Then take a flat silicone tip and slightly make the edges pop out a bit more. In the end, it should look like this. This will be the pomegranate for the fruit bowl. Take your yellow and split it into 4 even parts. It may not be that even, but just try your best. You should get 4 pieces like this. Take one of your yellow pieces and roll it into a ball. Take the ball and make it longer. Curve it a little. And then use a silicone tip tool and start making it look smoother. Take one of your yellow pieces and roll it into a ball. Then make the ball longer and curve it. Use a silicone tip and start rubbing it to make it look smoother. It should look like this in the end. This will be our banana. Repeat that to all of the other pieces. If you have bigger bananas, then take them and attach them side by side together. Then take the other 2 and put them on top of the bigger bananas. You should get something that looks like this. Then use a bit of metallic brown clay and make a stem on the bananas. It should look like this in the end. Take a teeny bit of yellow and orange and mix it into the peach clay. Once you've mixed it, shape it into a ball. Then use the largest ballpoint tip you have and poke it in the center. Then use a flat silicone tip and draw a line down the middle. Then smoothen it out. It should look like this. Take a little bit of bright and light green and shape it into a leaf. Then attach it onto your peach using a smaller ballpoint tip. You should get something that looks like this. Take your pink and white clay and mix together. You should get something like this. I'm sorry. Bippity boppity boo. Now take the mixed pink and white clay and make 2 bigger balls and then 2 smaller balls. Take one of the bigger pieces and make it into a long diamond shape. Then press it flat and fold one end against the other. Make sure there's a small hole in between. If you think it's not big enough, then you can use a silicone tool to make it pop out a bit more. Then make it smoother. Also make a small hole using the silicone tip. Pinch off a little piece from the smaller pieces and set that aside. Then roll your smaller piece into a ball and then press it flat, but making it look a bit more rectangular. Then, if you want, you can use a pointy edge tool and smoothen it out on the sides to make it look more neat. Then cut it like in a triangle shape to make it look like that. Repeat that with the other piece. Take the piece that we set aside before and press it flat, but not too flat. Also, don't make it pop out too much. Then use a silicone tip and make a small dent in it. Wrap it around the 2 halves of the ribbon. Then take the 2 strips that we made and put the ribbon / bow on top of them. Make sure that the ribbon ends pop out a bit. Attach the ribbon to the basket where you want it. It should look like this in the end. I'm sorry that we didn't mention pastels, paper, and a knife, but you will need those tools. And if you're a child, I suggest asking a parent to use the knife for you because you might hurt yourself. Well, let's get started. First, we're gonna use a bit of pastel shadings for the orange. Take a bit of brownish red and use a knife to grind it into powder. Take a brush and brush on a bit of the powder around the orange. This will make it look more realistic. But don't brush on too much or else it's gonna look unnatural. In the end, it should look like this. Now we're making the peach look more realistic. Take some red pastel and grind it into powder, the same way that we did with the orange. Then take yellow and grind it into powder, and pink. Make sure not to make a mix, and you'll need a bit of green. Use the red pastel powder and paint a little bit on the peach with your brush. Make sure to paint it all around the peach and not in one spot. Then use yellow and dab a bit on the peach too. Also spread this all around the peach. Then use the pink and start brushing it around the peach. Then use a bit of green and start shading on the leaf. It should look like this. We already grinded brown and black pastels. Use the brown and brush it on the banana. This will make it look more realistic. Then take a bit of the black and brush it on the stem. It should look like this in the end. Take another piece of tinfoil and split it in half. Then make one half into a snake. Do that with the other. Take the grape that we made earlier and wrap the vine around the tin foil. Repeat that with the other grape vine. And then set those aside. Take the basket and place the banana in it. And then place the orange, the pomegranate, the apple, and the peach. You can place them in any order or anywhere you want, but make sure to leave a little bit of space for the grapes. Take the grapes you have and pop them in the basket. Leave the tin foil in there. You can drape the grapes along the basket to cover up mistakes if you have any on your basket. Leave the tin foil in there while it bakes, so once it comes out, the vines will look curly. And then now it's time to bake. Once you've taken the tin foil out of the grapevines, you should get something that looks like this.
I don't like your